And this is part 2 of our 2026 predictions. You've already listened to part 1.
What is that, boys?
I don't know, actually. Yeah, you've already listened to part 1, so now this is part 2. So this is 5 to first with our drivers champion also. And we'll have some talk about some things going on in Formula 1 too at the end. But you've already listened to 11 to 6. You've probably scrutinized it quite a bit. We've probably been apologizing on CNN because we're so popular. But here we are. Sean, this is your house. Do you want to go first again, or do you want to defer to me to do 5-4?
I'll defer to you to do 5-4.
You sure?
I am.
Perfect. Well, because I want to be on record first, because everybody else is very much bullish on this team, but I am not. 5th, here, let's get the timer started. But 5th, Sean, I'm going Ferrari this year.
Ferrari.
Yeah. I just think Vasseur took over this team when he came from the 6th place team in Alfa Romeo. And I think he'll leave Ferrari in that general area. Obviously, I didn't put them 6th. But I just have no faith in someone who doesn't know how to win. On top of that, you have their top driver that they constantly work with, which is Charles Leclerc, who has brought them nothing but disappointment and sadness. And I think it's no different this year. The engine wasn't looking good preseason, right? Before even testing started. It wasn't looking good. They weren't looking in good shape. They were worried. Everybody was talking about potentially this being Hamilton's retirement year. And they rock up to testing and they look pretty good. But I think often testing doesn't tell the whole story. And I think if this is Ferrari's way of trying to say, you can love us again, this is your hope, I think reality comes crashing down on them again. We've seen this every year, right? How many years in a row have we seen this team rock up to testing, look really good? They're the team to beat, and they shit themselves. How many fucking times do we have to go through this? Charles Leclerc, I think it was day 1 last year.
Mm-hmm.
George Russell, day 2.
Mm-hmm.
Carlos Sainz, day 3. I think it was something like that. It means nothing when you look the fastest in testing. Are you stupid enough to bring your entire spec to testing when Mercedes is trying to hide what they have?
Mm-hmm.
You should have been way behind in the pack. But I think this is all they got. This is their time to shine, like Fernando Alonso said about Alpine in practice. This is their time. This is their moment. They got nothing else. Doesn't look good for them.
Okay.
Do I think they can recover eventually? It just depends on who they sign. I don't know if they're going to sign the person they need to sign and get rid of these 2 drivers. That being said, if you're a Ferrari fan, cover your ears right now. I don't think they will come even close to winning until 2032 after this season.
2032.
2030. I think
Very specific.
You have to hit bottom, right? There's this old adage about stock trading, right? It's this guy you probably never heard of, David Einhorn. I think he's been trading for 50 years in stocks, right? And a new kid was talking about how stocks always go up these days. Oh, you should invest in stocks. You should invest.
Isn't Einhorn Finkel? Finkel is Einhorn?
Einhorn is a man. Okay.
I'm glad you got the reference.
Just trying to have a serious moment for a second, but you always get me with that. David Einhorn talks about a 95% correction in stocks, which means you lose 95% of the value at the highest peak, right? And I see this Ferrari hitting bottom this year, but from bottom, it takes a long time to get back to the top. Don't you fucking dare say anything, because you had to.
If you think 5th is bottom, you're halfway there.
No, I was talking about something else with bottoms and tops. Anyway, David Einhorn says to this kid who thinks that stocks always go up, like Ferrari fans, right? We're always hopeful. It's always going to happen. We're always going to win. It's always next year, right? What's a 95% correction? A 95% correction is a 90% correction that's cut in half, right? Like, look at it that way. Like, you've lost 90% of something that you bought at, say, $100. It's now $10. A 95% correction goes to $5. It's cut in half.
I see what you mean. It's a
That's-
weird way of wording it, but sure.
Well, because I'm trying to say this is Ferrari. They just keep having hope until you have the 95% correction. I think that's what this year is.
Interesting.
I think it's grueling for them this year. Because even if, let's say, like, let's go off a test. Let's say the engine is good. Let's say the aero is good. Let's say everything's looking really good for them, right? Do you have faith that Charles and Lewis are going to figure out any development? Do you have faith that they're going to keep up with everybody else? I don't think so. I think even if they are good, they struggle eventually. This is me, like, hedging my bets. I think fifth makes a lot of sense. Because this could get really bad if they are caught flat-footed by the Mercedes engine. 5 minutes on the dot. And I got my point across.
All right. So who do you have for 4?
Williams.
Interesting.
They've rocked up to testing and they're behind schedule. They're looking bad. They're not where they want to be in 2025. Everybody's already forgotten that this was the talking point of Williams last year.
Mm-hmm.
And they rocked up in 5th. They've been prepping for this. They're looking good. They got 2 good, motivated drivers, solid drivers. There's no bullshit behind them like, say, Ferrari, where Lewis gets in his feels. He gets caught up in his own head, gets in a downward spiral. And Charles, it's never his fault. He doesn't have to improve. It's Ferrari's fault. They got to fix things, and Ferrari doesn't know how to fix things. It's exact opposite situation in Williams. And to his credit, Valls has done this in a sense that he's pitted them against each other, Sainz and Albon, at perfect times in their career. With Albon has to prove a lot and Sainz has to prove a lot, and they're going back and forth. And I think Sainz was caught off guard in the first half, and Albon was caught off guard in the second half last year. I think if they're firing on both cylinders all year this year, with a good engine, good platform, I think they double their points from last year, which puts them around Ferrari, and I think they just pip Ferrari. Especially if the Mercedes is that good in the first half, I think they'll take the lion's share of their points in the first.
Okay.
I like where they're going. It's going to take a lot more for them to get back to former glory. There's also the aspect of Carlos versus Charles.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of wants to still prove himself, and if they pip Ferrari, if Charles is behind Carlos, I think that's a big win for him. I was going to ask you, and remember in the over-unders, I said there's one I kept to myself,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll ask it to you here now. I was going to ask over-under 0.5 wins this year for Carlos Sainz. Could he sneak a cheeky win this year?
If they're actually halfway decent, I think with weather and unreliability, there's a chance.
I think so too. But it's such an arbitrary, like, out of left field type of prediction. It's not worthy of our over-unders. Like, over-unders are like actual talking points. This is just like, would I like to see Williams win a race? Yes. And we'll see. I think they can maybe sneak one. Maybe.
What are we thinking about the point spread between the drivers?
Between Albon and Carlos this
Yeah.
year? That's a great question. I'd like to think Carlos takes the lion's share, but like, is Albon Danny Kvyat and Carlos is Daniel Ricciardo, where Daniel Ricciardo gets the better results, but Danny Kvyat gets more points. This is 2015 Red Bull I'm talking about. Does Albon do that again like he did last year? Does he just keep getting consistent points, and then Carlos gets the amazing results every now and then? It could be close again, but I'd like to think it's going to be Carlos with like 150 and Albon with like 130.
150 and 130.
That's where my mind's going right now.
I mean, it is a reg change. We're going to see a larger spread in points, so it's possible.
Yeah. It is possible, but is it likely? I don't know. This is me relying on Ferrari really shitting the bed this year, and this is me relying on Williams being consistent, not up and down like they were last year. I'd like to think that they who put all their effort into this year has a good result this year. But they rocked up to testing, and they're all talking about, we're not where we want to be, it's not looking good. And I got myself second-guessing, but like I said, this is my original list, and I have faith that there's slow growth, slow progression for this team. They're going to need to get rid of Valls, Sainz, and Albon if they ever want to be champions, but that's years down the road.
Okay.
30 seconds to spare. Any more questions about that? Or any more comments?
No, I'm going to save that because, yeah.
Okay. All right. So you got your 5th and 4th.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So my fifth is Williams.
Mhm.
And I more or less agree with what you've said. They were fifth last year. I think them being fifth this year is a statement that they're actually on their way. They haven't moved. But like I mentioned in the last episode, at this point, being firmly mid-pack, the effort it takes to move from 11th to 1st is an exponential relationship. So them being in 5th, the amount of energy and effort that's going to be needed to move from 5th to 4th to 3rd to 2nd is massive. So them being able to hit a regulation change, especially one of this magnitude, and maintain the position from last year is an illustration of the effort put in to move forward. So I think they're going to stay where they are. I am concerned about Albon. I want him to do better. I think Carlos is the better driver, but I think the two of them together could be phenomenal as a driver lineup if Albon can get over his lack of what am I looking for here, Nick?
Stamina.
Thank you. He needs to consistently put points on the board, start to finish, not just at the beginning of the season. If he can do that, I think Williams has a chance. We talked about this as well, where I don't put any credence to the issues of not making it to Barcelona. That was a self-imposed own goal in my mind. They made it to Bahrain, and they looked good in Bahrain. They had a couple little issues here and there. They lost some time in testing, but overall, they looked fine. One thing I found to be a little bizarre, I don't know if you caught this, the screens that they put on the car when they're in the pits so that the drivers have information when they're sat in the car. Did you see what they have on the outside of those?
No.
You know the sphere in Las Vegas, how it's got the little face that kind of follows them around?
Oh, my God.
The outside of these information panels have screens. And whenever the car was in the garage, it was like the car was looking at you. It had eyes moving around on it. They've paid somebody, and they've paid for the expenditure of putting screens on the outside of these panels.
That's fouls.
I want why?
Yeah.
In a cost cap era, why are you paying to do shit like this? The only thing I can think of is one of their sponsors is probably a tech company that offers something like this, and they haven't paid for it. But it's one of these little intricacies that are, why did they do it? I don't know. But it's an interesting offset. It freaked the fuck out of me. I'm sitting at work, and it's on a screen off to the side, and I look over, and this fucking car's staring at me. It was bizarre.
Big Brother is here, is what I think you were thinking.
Yeah.
No. What's Vowles' role in this year to you with Williams? Is it an improvement with him? Is there still like clusterfucks? Is there situations where they don't have a second car like you saw in 2024?
I mean, I think people are expecting that to happen, given the fact that they didn't make it to Barcelona and the implications of that. I think people want that to happen. People expect that to be the case. I think if they get through this year and they're in 5th place and they don't have those problems, it's a massive win for Williams. It proves that Vowles, as much as I don't like him and the way that he runs that team, it proves that it's working. It's what that team needs in the moment.
Yeah.
So if they maintain 5th and they don't have those problems, it's a massive leap forward for them, realistically, and when it comes to effort and the energy exerted to get to this year.
That's a good point. I agree. Like I said, I think he's not the guy to take him to the promised land, even though he thinks so.
Yeah, he's not going to get them a Constructors Championship.
No, but you're right. A small victory like this will put them in the right direction.
Yeah,
like kind of like Capito not getting them off the bottom was a massive.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Who do you got for 4th?
You ready for this, Nick?
I think I know, but yeah, I'm ready.
Well, who do you think?
I think it's Red Bull.
You think that? It's Mercedes.
Oh, wow. I like this one. I was not ready for that, apparently. Okay.
So here's the thing. Toto is big mad. He's really fucking mad.
I did see that, yeah.
He's mad at the rumors about his engine not being compliant to the rules. He's mad at the rumors of his fuel not being homologated. He is mad. When do we see Toto mad?
Right before a big flop like we did in 2022.
We see Toto mad when things are going bad.
Good point.
Change your fucking car. Right?
Yeah.
The car's not working. There's a problem. We need to change the regulation. No, change your car. And they didn't get better for them until they changed the fucking car. There was a legitimate problem. That's when Toto's mad. When their drivers make mistakes, legitimate problems, Toto's mad. Wow. When people started pointing out your engine's not legal and the FIA started taking it seriously, Toto got mad. When people started poking about the fuel, Toto got mad.
Good point.
Toto is mad. There is a problem here. This is why I say come June, when they have to start testing at 130 degrees C, they're going to suffer. They have from now until June to fix their engine, and they have from now until June to exploit the fact that it doesn't need to be tested in that case. So they're going to try and score as many points as they can. But come June, Merc and everybody who runs a Merc engine is going to suffer.
Mercedes, Williams, Alpine, yeah. Interesting. And like we saw last year, that last half is very important. It can change a lot. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Great point.
So they're going to score points. The car is not going to be bad. Mercedes is a powerhouse of a team with massive backing. They have the people they need to do the job. They're going to be up there. But they are going to be hamstrung like Braun 2009. We have a benefit now. After that benefit goes away, we're fucked.
So, do you think George Russell wins? Or give me a number. How many races in the first 12 races do you think George Russell wins?
I'm not going to bother with that.
Okay.
They're going to score decent points. And the note that I have here is that Kimi and George both seem to be doing reasonably well in that car. Both of them got out there, ran their programs, didn't really show much, but at the same time didn't have many problems. I think George topped one of the days or half of the day, whatever it was, but so did everybody else in the top four.
Yeah.
So that's not an indication. Kimi got out there, put in some good performances. I'm okay. For what I've seen from George and Kimi is fine. They're both reasonable drivers in what appears to be a decent car. So yes, they will score points. They may win, they may not. I'm not going to bother predicting that. But I guarantee you, before the summer break, we see a drop-off.
Wow. Another question and I lost it. Oh, do you think, well, I guess it's already confirmed, but okay, I'll ask this later. Because it involves other teams that I'm thinking of. I'm thinking there's no way the FIA punishes McLaren and Williams and Alpine and Mercedes, right? Like I can't imagine there's much change.
They're not punishing anybody. They're making sure that the engines run compliantly.
Good point. Okay.
Mercedes punishes them.
Well said.
Mercedes is the one that then has to produce an engine that meets the requirement.
Okay, yeah. All right. So, yeah, that answers my question.
But, sorry, maybe I'll run a little over on this one.
It's fine.
In that case, everything before June is technically an illegal advantage because it hasn't been checked. You're getting extra power. Everything from June onwards then tells us what the actual teams have relative to everybody else, right? Customer teams, McLaren, Williams, Alpine, and Mercedes, right?
Yes, that's the four, yeah.
That's the four. The team with the better car, the team with the better chassis, won't feel it as much because they have the same power as everybody else. They're no longer quote unquote cheating. So it's possible that you have a really good car with a Mercedes engine that's cheating, but come June, you lose that power, but your car's still very good. Right?
I have one team in mind. All right. So I guess I'm doing
3 and 2.
3 and 2. All right. Let's start the clock. So third, once again, this is my original list, but I think it makes a lot of sense. I'm putting Red Bull again.
And third?
And third, yeah. I had them there last year. Well, actually, I had them second last year, and they should have finished second last year, and that really pisses me off. But I think they're just kind of stuck here for now, and it doesn't matter where Red Bull is. We know Max Verstappen's going to be a threat for the driver's title. It could be fourth. Fifth probably is a stretch, probably, but God only knows. I just think now we need to see how good this car is for both drivers, and I wonder how much Isaac comes to play this year. And you pointed out this in toss-up. This is a brand new team now. This is year 0 for them.
Yes.
New organization. Well, not new organization, but new team principal, new second driver.
I'm going to go ahead and say it is a new organization. They lost Wheatley. They lost Horner.
Lost Newey.
Lost Newey. That is the top level of the team gone.
And their gremlin is gone, Helmut Marko. The gremlin working in the background trying to destroy everything.
That is a great explanation of him.
Yeah, he's just like when you talk to me about Arvid Lindblad, like how or even what Alex Dunn too. Those two drivers were just kind of signed out of nowhere without any consultation. It's like he's working in the background thinking he knows what's best, and he's becoming more and more hunched over and decrepit and disgusting, much like a gremlin. Yeah. So I'm intrigued to see where they are, but I think it's safe to say that the two teams ahead of them just have a better overall organization. And if everybody who's paying attention, I think you know who they are. And also one, as we just talked about, an illegal advantage. So if you're low on Mekis, I think you're not really worried about the constructors this year. You're just worried about keeping Max, right? And you're about keeping Max in the driver's title. It's kind of like last year. That's interesting. Sorry, Sean shook his head, and I'm just kind of intrigued to see where he goes with that. Do you want more balance and not worry about Max then, is what I'm thinking. But I'll save it for when you get to Red Bull. But that's where my mind is at. I think they're just kind of going to try and do what they did last year. Aim for the drivers, the rest be damned. And I think Isaac does come online a little bit. I think he actually is a lot better this year. I think his goal needs to be 50 to 100 points. Just nail that. Nail that. Get to that point.
That's low.
I understand it's low, but like Yuki got 30. Aim for 50 to 100, and if you overshoot it, that's fine. But that needs to be the goal.
Okay.
Isaac's capable of doing it. So I think it'll be something similar to that where Max is getting 350 to 450 points. Isaac's getting anywhere from 50 to 100, which puts them in third.
All right.
Any questions? We got some time.
I'm looking at this, and I'm seeing the two that you have in 1 and 2. Are you really just basing this on engine?
Kind of. That is a good point. I think more organization. Team that I put 1, I think, is just a good, solid unit.
Okay. So I think I know what that is.
Yeah, and the team I'm putting 2, yeah, it is, I guess, just engine. Listen, I think Max can win the drivers this year. I said he's winning over 6 races in over-under.
Sure.
It's just, where is the second driver? We don't know yet. And is the car balanced? We don't know yet. But like balance for both drivers. Does Max grow with this car and then they focus on Maxkin? And does Isaac keep up? We don't know yet. There's just too many unknowns.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's enough in the teams ahead of them that they will pip them, unfortunately.
Okay.
I went with them second last year and it didn't work, but I think...
It didn't work, but you were really fucking close.
I was really fucking close. And they should have finished second, but... I'm just thinking... And here, so number 2 is Mercedes.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see the FIA punishing... Like, I know you just made the point against it. My original list, I couldn't see the FIA punishing 4 teams. Especially when 2 of them are very popular teams in Williams and Mercedes. And I think they may come to a resolution where Mercedes is still benefited. I think Toto.
I don't know how that would be the case, because all the FIA is doing is for them to measure compression ratio at an elevated temperature.
Okay. Let's say Mercedes is 16.4 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
Are they penalized?
They should be.
Yeah, they should be.
They should be disqualified.
You're absolutely right. Are we going to hear about that? Are they going to do it?
I will point you to Ferrari circa 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So your point may be valid for this year, but next year.
Yeah, okay. Well, we're not talking about next year.
Yeah. No, I get that. Yeah. That's one outcome.
Mm-hmm.
I think in all actuality, Mercedes is more concerned about being disqualified from every race until they prove that it's not non-compliant.
And that's completely fair. And you might be right. However, Conspiracy Nick helped on number 2 with Mercedes. Okay. First off, you don't just win. On the way to winning, there's twists and turns, right? Ask McLaren in 2024, right? And 2023, right? It takes time. You think you're taking a leap, and then you take a big step back from 2022 to 2023. And yeah, they won 2024, but that was more Red Bull's losing, I think. It took some time. Mercedes is not just going to jump into the first place in the Constructors because we have the best engine. Their drivers aren't good enough.
Well, I agree.
Not yet.
Which is why I put them in 4th.
That's bold. And I dig it. And then you made a good point about it. But Conspiracy Nick thinks, and this is why they're going to keep kind of things under kibosh, and I think Mercedes is just going to be very strong the entire year. Conspiracy Nick thinks that Toto Wolff went up to the FIA after 2021, after Abu Dhabi, and said, I know where all the bodies are buried. I know how to take all of you down. You give Lewis Hamilton this title. And I think they said, no, we're not going to do that because of X, Y, and Z. There were a lot of things that they looked over that year. But here, we'll give you an olive branch. We'll fire Michael Massey and we'll say he did completely wrong.
But they didn't say that.
They did. They said Michael Massey made an error or something like that.
They did not.
What did they say?
They said that Michael Massey did his job how it should have been done.
I thought they said something along the lines of he made an error.
No. He exercised his judgment.
That's what they said.
And when you read between the lines of the statement, which does not claim that Michael Massey made a mistake, it is basically, we fired him because we didn't like the decision he made. Which sparked my hatred for Ben.
Interesting. But like it still speaks to my conspiracy theory that was an olive branch to Toto Wolff.
Oh, I agree that firing him was an olive branch to Toto Wolff. But they also did not say that he made a mistake.
Okay, I thought he did. I should find the article and I'll post it on our Instagram or something. If I can. I don't know if it's a memory hold by now. What I'm guessing is the whole anger that you talk about in 2022 when Toto was big mad, change your fucking car. My guess is when he said to Horner on Drive to Survive and in that whole room, he said, you're playing a dangerous game. My guess was he was going to take them all down in some way.
That's your conspiracy brain.
Yes, correct. But what I think happened is they all said, okay, keep your mouth shut. You're going to have a hard time these next 4 years. But when it's your time to win, we'll stay out of the way. Because originally they did, right? They deemed it fine. They deemed it legal. And then there was uproar from, like you said, Binotto in 2019, who said, what the fuck are you talking about? I lost 3 years at Ferrari. I lost a chance to win with my engine design, which wasn't legal, right? But you took me down. You're not going to take this guy down? I think just enough screaming, enough bringing this to the surface has made them seem like they're going to do something, but I don't think they do anything. But, and I'll save that for number 1, the problem is the team ahead of them has the same engine, better organization, more likely to win.
Sure. And before I get into mine, I'll just say your comment about you're playing a dangerous game was Toto appealing to the health and safety team. In context, I understand where your brain goes and why it goes that way, but in reality, it was playing to the cameras because it was on Netflix Drive to Survive being monitored, right? It's you don't care about your drivers, right? It's setting the trap. Oh, you don't want to change it, but your drivers are complaining. Sergio's saying his back hurts. Sergio's saying this. Max is saying that. That was the comment.
I understand the context, but what I'm saying is there's a different language being spoke between these people at all times. Yeah,
I understand, and I just want to make it clear that to the sane people in the room, that's your conspiracy theory brain.
correct. Yeah, but that's what I'm thinking. That's where my mind's going.
Okay.
Yeah. You don't just win, Mercedes. You don't just have the best engine. You don't just win. You don't have a winning driver in George Russell or Kimi yet.
Yes.
End of point. All right. Who do you got for 3 and 2?
Are you ready for this, Nick?
For number 3, well, based on where you're going, I'm guessing McLaren.
Oh, wow. You nailed that.
Wow. There's 2 teams left over there. That's very interesting. So, yeah, why McLaren at 3rd, Sean?
Because they look okay.
Yeah.
They look okay. They went out there. They did what they did. The car looks fine. Nothing revolutionary, right? We see a lot of other teams out there doing innovative things. Audi. Those side pods look god-awful, but they might serve a purpose. Haas. There's a reason to paint a car entirely white. Do you know what that is?
To get any like dirt splatter or stuff like that? Like, do you see where the dirt
Close.
splatter? Yeah.
Close. White is the reflection of light, right? When you look at white and black, black is the complete absorption of light. White is the reflection of light. To the human eye, it is very hard to distinguish minor differences. A lot of companies will paint cars silver or white when they release a new model because it looks clean, it looks bright, but it hides minor imperfections. You see some fine detail and body lines, things like that, so you can see the general shape of it, which is great, but you don't see the finer details. I think there are a lot of teams hiding things. There are a lot of teams trying innovative things out there. Aston tried a lot of innovative things and fell flat. That's a different story. That's the risk you take in trying innovation. Audi is trying innovative things. And unfortunately, silver doesn't hide as much, especially when you splash orange across half of it. It's a terrible livery still, but McLaren hasn't shown us that they're doing anything. And I might eat my words here, but I think that's them being safe. I think that's them saying, we have a team that's proven we can win. Let's keep doing what we're doing. Let's not rock the boat. And let's build a car that we know. But in a regulation change, that might bite them in the ass. Now, I'm still putting them in 3rd. It's up there. And this is the chaos of the regulation change. We don't know who got it right. They're reliant on Mercedes for their engines. So if something happens in June, they're going to take a hit. They might have the best chassis on the grid. And with the best engine with an illegal amount of power, they may dominate the first half of the season. But as soon as that hits, they're going to see a hit and they don't know what's going on. And they may react poorly to it. And Lando can't deal with adversity.
Absolutely. Can Oscar?
Oscar might. But then you have the Max Verstappen problem.
Good point.
So, I think they're up there, but I don't think they're at the top.
It's very good points you make. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yes, valid. I like Stella. I hate Brown.
Yeah.
So, it is, to me, the top 3 were the hardest to decide. And this was really just a coin flip for me. So, I'm firm with it. I think McLaren is 3rd place, and I'm going to leave it there. But I think out of the top 3 teams I have, they're the ones that stand to lose the most.
It's a good point. I like your point about Lando not dealing with adversity, right? But does this team finally rally around Oscar then? And we've seen you can fight for the drivers from 3rd in the 24 race calendar. Yeah.
It's possible.
I like Stella too. I think if you play it safe, he's going to make a big leap. He's shown that before.
Yes.
Okay, but you still... Okay.
No, I stick with it.
I stick with it. Okay. Who do you got for 2?
Ferrari.
Wow.
I will preface this by saying I am almost ready to have the conversation about Ferrari.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I'll also preface a potential apology to Ferrari because they're not as good as they claim to be, but they're also not as bad as I've claimed them to be. They still have a lot of work to do, and they still don't deserve their ego. But what I've seen in testing, and I say this hesitantly, is interesting. Like you said, they rock up to testing, and they're the best. 9 times out of 10, they top testing across any regulation change. But then they fall flat on their fucking faces.
Yep.
And everybody gets hot and horny for Ferrari. This is our year. Regulation change. This is our year. No, it's not. I'm sorry. You're not going to win. I don't think they will win, like you said, till 2032. Why that year? Because eventually their luck is going to hit, right? Statistics and probability. It's not this year.
No.
But they're going to come close. Wow. So, if you watched testing, Charles looked good. Hamilton looked good. Esteban Ocon looked good when it came to starts. The big point in testing was, how are they going to start? How are they going to spool up these turbos? Well, Ferrari went to the drawing board and said, wait, if we can be in front, if we can start in front, get in front of everybody else off the start, we don't have to worry. If we can keep them behind us, we don't have to worry. So how do we do that? Take off like a fucking rocket ship.
Okay.
A smaller turbo will do that for you. So they allegedly have the smallest turbo of any of the engine manufacturers, which means it spools faster. It delivers less power, but it spools faster. So you're ready for the start sooner. When the start happens, you're at full power. There's no additional build when you add load to it. When you come out of the corner, it spools faster. So if you go into a slow speed corner where the engine is stepping itself down, you're going to have a fully spooled turbo as you exit. You're going to be on power faster.
Okay.
It's not a bad solution. Additionally, early on, they were talking about Ferrari's selection of materials for the engine. They're using steel cylinder heads. I'm sure you don't know what that means.
Well, you were saying Red Bull was using 3D printed ones, right?
That's for the exhaust and the turbo.
Okay.
Steel. So steel's heavy. Most of these F1 engines are actually aluminum with a lot of carbon fiber parts. Where they don't need extreme heat, they're carbon fiber. So aluminum is lightweight, but expands a lot under thermal stress. Ferrari went, well, shit, we can make this part smaller by making it out of steel. So pound for pound, steel is a lot stronger than aluminum. So you can technically take weight out of a steel part to get it as strong as aluminum. It's the same argument we have with carbon fiber and aluminum, or carbon fiber and other materials. Yeah. So what they're saying is, we're going to make this out of steel to make it smaller, make it thinner, make it everything else. But we've been here before. Anybody who's owned a Ford engine car from the 90s knows this problem. An aluminum cylinder block and a steel cylinder head, blown head gaskets. Every time. So, reliability and Ferrari. Two nemesises.
So you think that's how they solved reliability, is what you're saying?
No.
Oh.
That's going to hurt them.
Oh.
Well, I think they have potentially the best engine. Again, it will be the most unreliable.
Oh, I thought you were saying the aluminum was unreliable, not
No,
they
no.
have steel. Oh, the steel.
When you match materials, they grow
Oh.
at the same rate.
I see. Okay.
When you change materials, they grow at different rates, and you basically get a cheese grater.
Oh, okay.
Now, that being said, F1 engines don't have head gaskets like commercial cars, but it's still going to be a problem. So I will put it there.
So you think Ferrari finishes there because of unreliability? Otherwise, they could have the best car on the grid.
Potentially.
Wow.
We didn't talk about the wing. We'll talk about that after.
Okay.
Second,
It's Ferrari, yeah.
Ferrari. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay. Sorry,
So
Yes.
here, let's just give a quick blurb so we can talk more about about our firsts. We'll do 2 minutes for each. If you need more time, obviously you need more time for Red Bull. It's fine. But I'll McLaren is first for me, and I just think there's been zero fucking respect for this team coming into this new regulation. Everybody's been talking Mercedes, Ferrari, Max Verstappen. Understandably, there's no respect for Lando Norris as the previous champion, but nobody's been talking Oscar Piastri. If you've noticed this preseason, he's just an afterthought. Mm-hmm. And it's very weird to me that nobody's been giving him the respect that he quite frankly deserves. Zach Brown said something interesting at the end of Abu Dhabi, in between interrupting Oscar's radio and pissing him off and sounding like a total brute and moron. He made a comment to the media saying, I think Oscar can be the champion for McLaren in 2026. Which is his way of saying, last year I declared Lando the champion. This year I'm going to declare Oscar the champion, which means the team is going to rally around Oscar. Like I said, I don't think Mercedes wins, but McLaren has the Mercedes engines. They have Oscar Piastri. I think they rally around him, and I think they go for it. And Lando, like I said, yeah, he will not be good with adversity. He'll have problems, but he will be the clear number 2 this year. He will not deal with adversity well, but he will do just enough to get McLaren over the hump. And that's where I'm going with them. Is Lando going to be the worst champion defense ever? I don't know. I think that's Jenson Button or Damon Hill.
well, it's clearly Nico Rosberg.
Technically, that's the best championship defense ever. No one ever beat him.
Well,
Technically. Yeah, it's not fair, but it's bullshit.
perspective.
The question is are the engineers, are they going to default to rallying around Lando when Lando struggles and cries and whines and complains? That's the $1,000 question for this team. Because if that happens, they will struggle. Yes. They'll fall into third. I like the point you made. Like they just showed up. Yeah. The best teams don't need to make a splash.
Oh, I'm with you.
But yeah, that's my blurb on McLaren.
Okay.
I think they're good enough organization. I like Stella to develop. I like Stella to move this team forward if there is a problem. Who do you got for first? Well, it's, yeah.
Oh, it's Red Bull.
Yeah, that's, wow.
And like I said, this was a 3-way coin toss. I'm not so confident in this pick. But at the same time, the Red Bull powertrain looks reliable. The money that they've put into it, the effort that they've put into it is impressive. The fact that they've been running engines on dynos to not just race distances, but like season distances for a long time and blowing up parts and fixing them and running is impressive. I'm sure everybody else has been doing this. Red Bull's been the most vocal about it. The 3D printed exhaust manifolds, turbo housings, all that is also impressive. I don't know what the other teams are doing, but they've been in close cooperation with Ford on this project. And I don't, you know me, I don't have a high regard for Ford quality. I've spent too much of my career dealing with Ford to do that to myself. But clearly Red Bull has been seeking out resources outside of their own by having Ford do turbo testing for them. They don't have the resource to do it. Ford does. They're clearly cooperating across the board. And I think that's a benefit. The engine looks good. And if you believe what people are saying, the deployment on that powertrain is better than anybody else's. They're able to deploy energy more efficiently, recover energy more efficiently, have more energy to deploy around the entire lap. That's going to be a big benefit. I think the aero balance of the car, the performance of the cars, the inherent chassis instabilities that are built in is going to be less sensitive this year to driver based on the aero package and the active aerodynamics and energy deployment that we have. So it's no longer, how do I put this? It's no longer dependent on, I've got one driver who is really specific and one driver that can take it or leave it. It's, I can build a neutral chassis and the drivers can do it. So that's why I think Red Bull potentially has the upper leg here. I think quietly they've built a powertrain department, which is primarily Mercedes people that are going to sneak in under the radar, and a chassis that is what it needs to be for both drivers.
That's how you bring Oscar into play. No, Oscar. Isaac. Yeah.
And then we have 300 points for Max Verstappen, and Isaac at 175, 200 isn't a massive offset.
300, 400 points probably for Max, maybe more. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right. So I think this is the chance for Red Bull to come back strong and make a statement. And hopefully it works for them.
Good point. They also have the best driver, the one who can develop the most, can take them forward. If they are behind, they'll catch up.
Yeah. I mean, Max has been very vocal that he doesn't like this new regulation set, which I don't understand why he doesn't like it. And we'll get into this in one of the next sections. This should favor Max. All of this should favor Max.
Yeah. Maybe he's just speaking philosophically, right? Like the way he wants to see F1 going. He doesn't like its direction, and this is the time to make that point for him. But you're right. But you're right. But like, this is all for him. Like, this favors someone who does the work.
Yes.
So you think the Mekis era is not a flop?
No, not at all. I have nothing but respect for the man now.
After seeing what he did, it's kind of hard not to like him.
Yeah.
All right, who's your driver's champion then for 2026?
I'm calling Max Verstappen.
It's a good pick.
And for similar reasons to what I was saying about Red Bull, I think the engine's decent. The car seems to be reasonable, right? They didn't go out there and do anything in testing that was mind-blowingly above anybody else. But I think given what's available to the teams and to the drivers this year in the regulation change, if anybody's going to have an advantage, it's going to be Max.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've said with Oscar and Max operate on different frequencies. They're not like you and me. Mm-hmm. They think and they see things faster than everybody else. They come to decisions faster. I think it's going to come down to Oscar and Max battling it out. But ultimately, I think the Android wins.
Mm. Yeah. It's hard to bet against that.
So, that's really all I have to say about that one.
I completely agree with you. I think it's going to be Max versus Oscar this year. And the fact that nobody's talking about, they're talking about Charles, Lewis, George, Kimi, Lando, Fernando. Well, until they saw the Honda. The fact that they're not talking really about either of them, I think, is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And every single part of me wants to take Max. The problem is I've taken him the last 2 years. So I'm going to switch it up this year. And I'm going to take Oscar to win it.
Okay.
I think he would have won last year if McLaren had the sense to rally around him and treat him like the number one driver that he is.
Yes.
So I think this year Brown signaled it, and that's why I think they're going to do it. They're going to say, hey, sorry for last year. Go for it. Now, we'll see. We'll see. I like the points you've made about Mercedes. They might fall off. Maybe McLaren does fall off. But who do you think out of all the Mercedes customer teams will have the best aero platform?
I think it's going to be McLaren.
McLaren. So the drop-off may not be as bad.
No, and that's exactly what I was saying. You go from an engine that's overpowered to an engine that's appropriately powered. The team with the best chassis is still going to benefit from it.
And one of the second best driver on the grid.
Yeah.
In Oscar. So
Yeah.
let's see how he does in the first half.
Exactly.
They're very modest. They're saying we're not going to rock up to Australia and we're going to dominate like last year. Well, what you can still win.
Exactly.
Like it
A win is a win.
Yeah, it can be 1-5. Yeah, you're not 1-2, but you're still you're still winning.
Yeah, and you're not winning by 30 seconds. You're winning by 2.
Yeah. So I like their position. I like where they're at. And they're not given any respect by anyone.
Yeah, people have seemed to have written them off, and I don't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's getting behind Mercedes, which, again, I don't understand. But
Makes no sense. Yeah. You don't just jump to winning.
no.
I've said it many times already. I'll say it again. You don't just snap your fingers and jump to the top.
No.
No. All right. You got 5 minutes. You want to talk about anything in particular? You want to talk about the Ferrari wing? You want to talk about
Yeah,
anything?
let's talk about the Ferrari wing.
Okay.
I didn't get to talk about it with Ferrari, but of course we're talking about the rotisserie wing.
Rotisserie.
That's what I'm calling it.
I like that.
The regulation states that I don't know the exact verbiage of it, but basically the wing has to move to reduce drag. Okay. The F1 models, the FIA models, F1 models of this regulation set had it pivoting at the front. So the back end would drop down, which is how Alpine did it, which is what Audi has adopted now. But every other team has taken the approach of DRS. Pivot at the back, single actuator in the center, and you open a slot gap. Okay. It's been effective for DRS. And like I mentioned, Gary Anderson had some comments about the ability to attach and detach aeroflow over those profiles. And he's an old hand in F1 and he knows aerodynamics better than I do. But I've seen some data recently about maybe laying it down is the better way to do it. Now, Ferrari came out with the rotisserie wing. You flip the wing over completely. So, an F1 wing is an inverted aeroplane wing. So instead of generating lift, it generates downforce. You generate lift upside down. Okay? So if you flip an F1 wing upside down, what do you get?
You get a car that can lift off the ground.
Right. There's nothing explicitly against that in the regulation. So if you're in straight line mode, where the goal is to go fast, you don't want downforce, which was the purpose of DRS. Ferrari's taken it to the extreme and created lift. Let's lift the back end of the car off the ground. Obviously, it's not going to take off.
No.
But basically what they're trying to do is counteract, because you have two planes of the wing. You've got the bottom plane and the top plane. The top plane is the one that moves. So they're effectively trying to reduce the effect of the bottom plane by creating lift on the main plane. So they're trying to eliminate any downforce they get on the rear end, which is going to allow them to reduce that drag overall and push faster in the straight
Very cool.
when you don't need it in the corners. Like I said, very cool. What gets even cooler is if you look at the actuator for the wing, how that wing moves. Historically, it's been one element in the center, one actuator in the center of the wing that supports it and moves that wing element up and down. If you want to flip the wing over, you can't do that. You've got to build it into the end fences of the wing. So now you don't have a disruption in the middle of the wing. Your wing is going to be more efficient. But also, you don't want this wing element, these end fences, to be massively thick. So it's got to be very thin, because that affects aerodynamics as well. So they've found a mechanism that they can package in the end fences of this wing that is extremely compact, has enough torque to turn this wing over extremely fast without affecting the overall package size. They ran this thing for, I think, 1 or 2 laps. And then Hamilton was in the garage for almost half a day. This is an extremely delicate piece of equipment. If they can nail this, we're not going to see it, by the way. We're not going to see it in Australia. We're not going to see it in Japan, China, Bahrain, Saudi. None of that. We're going to see it at Monza.
I was going to say Monza, Azerbaijan, or Vegas, right? Yeah.
Right. And everybody else is looking at this now, going, shit, we thought about that, we wrote it off, but maybe there's something to it. Can they package it the same way Ferrari did? I doubt it. Not in this time frame. If Ferrari can figure out that mechanism, whether it's rotating 90 degrees, 180, 270, whatever, that mechanism alone, getting rid of that bulk mass in the middle of the wing, is going to benefit them.
That's 3 wins. But just tracks we listed right there, right?
But even if it's only lifting the same as a DRS would, getting it away from this giant actuator in the center of the wing and putting it into the end fences makes that wing much more efficient.
And has a lot more practical purposes, you're saying? Like, yeah, okay, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So, very cool. And as much as I don't like Ferrari, that's clever.
Yeah, I think I texted you and we got to figure out what it was. You say this once a year about them. They do one thing, but we got to find it. It may not have been last year. It might have been the 2 years ago.
Sure. It may have been the side pods, those very scalloped, scooped out side pods.
Last year.
Well, kind of progressing from 22 till now.
To our listeners, find out what we're talking about. Sean and I are busy people. These are our predictions for 2026. Maybe mid-season we should approach this again and see how bad or good we did.
Whether we do it or not, I usually do it mid-season anyway. So,
tell us what you think. What are your 5th to 1st? Let us know. No hate comments anymore.
I mean, we'll just ignore them.
Sean, you have yourself a good night.
You too?
1 week. We'll be mid-race in a week.
Friday. Let's do it.
So fast, man. 90 days just flew by. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you after Melbourne. Have a good night.
Good night.